What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here at my YouTube channel. This is where we talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Movies, video games, comic books, and TV shows. And right now, I'd like to give you guys my thoughts on the new Netflix original series, The Crew. So The Crew is a 10-episode series starring Kevin James. And, you know, it's a comic series starring Kevin James where he plays NASCAR crew chief Kevin Gibson. And he plays the crew chief. And things in his crew really start to change when a new boss comes in and starts shaking things up. So it's very much like a situational comedy where even though I'm not a NASCAR fan and my wife is not a NASCAR fan, we both enjoy this series because they are able to make it relatable enough, talk in broad enough terms to where we are able to enjoy it. It's still funny. It's situational comedy that we can relate to because it's basically just workplace comedy. It's basically just workplace comedy because they kind of leave all the technical stuff about NASCAR out. And they really focus on the workplace comedy aspect of NASCAR, or the workplace aspect of NASCAR. So Kevin James, again, I'm a big fan of him. You know, I'm a huge fan of King of Queens. I used to watch King of Queens all the time. It used to be my comfort show. The Office is my comfort show today, but King of Queens really used to be my comfort show. I've seen every episode multiple times. For what it's worth, I was also a big fan of Kevin Can Wait. That show was a little weird, the way that they killed his wife off halfway through the season to bring in Leah Remini. But that was a good enough show. Kevin James is a very charismatic person, very funny person. So whenever he's on screen, usually you're being entertained. I was even entertained by Becky. I was. You know, as entertained as you can be by a Nazi ripping out his own eye. But I was entertained by it. So Kevin James, big fan. Nothing's different here. Lots of charisma, very funny, and just it interacts well with the rest of his cast. Jillian Miller, she plays Catherine. She is the new boss in town. And they're, again, leaning into the situational comedy. She's a lot younger than he is, and she wants to switch things up. She wants to do things a little more modern. She wants to do things with a little more, that are a little more trendy. She wants to use analytics a little bit more than he does. There's a lot more modern stuff that she wants to bring to the table because she's a lot younger than him. So again, like I said, you got the situational comedy component that this brings. In the beginning of the show, she's kind of antagonistic. You don't really like her a whole lot, but as the series progresses, she becomes much more likable because, I mean, that's what was supposed to happen. As the series progresses, we get to know her better, and, just the process of spending more time with her humanizes her. I was afraid that there's going to be a romance between her and Kevin James. Way too many years in between there. I mean, there's nothing illegal that would happen there. It would just be weird. But they didn't go that route, thankfully. Sarah Stiles plays Beth Page, who kind of is Kevin James's love interest in this show. She brings a lot of the really funny moments, a lot of great one-liners. She's kind of this weird, eccentric person, collects Pez dispensers, but she's in a lot of ways the heart of this show, and her chemistry with Kevin James is really good and really solid. Freddie Stroma plays Jake Martin, who's the driver. And I really like the direction they took with the driver here. They made him like a really skilled driver, really good at his job, but he's dumber than rocks. And there's a lot of jokes that lent that this guy's just kind of a dummy. And they did it in a way where they weren't saying NASCAR drivers are dummies. NASCAR drivers aren't stupid. Just this one is stupid. So, they weren't going to offend any NASCAR drivers or any NASCAR fans by saying all NASCAR drivers are dumb. They were just saying, hey, this NASCAR driver is an idiot. So that was good. All right. Gary Anthony Williams plays Chuck Stubbs. He's on the crew team. A lot of good one-liners by this guy. I'm not very familiar with his work, but he definitely brought a lot of really good moments to the show. Dana Duke plays Amir. if you remember, Dana Dude was in Cobra Kai, and he was really funny also. He's kind of this anxiety-ridden OCD guy. and he brings a lot of funny moments to the show as well. And then finally, Paris Barrel plays Jessie De La Cruz, and this girl's gonna have a career. She's probably around 20 years old, but very charismatic. Lots of screen presence, and she had a lot of really good, what's the word I'm looking for? She only showed up in 4 or 5 episodes, but the episodes that she did show up in, she left an impact, because she, like I said, she definitely had that screen presence. So she's somebody that's gonna go somewhere after this, and I think she was like a Disney actor. You know how a lot of kid actors are. Disney actors, and then when they hit their 20s, they branch out. I think that's what she's trying to do now, is branch out, because I'm pretty sure she was a Disney actress. I don't know that for sure. I haven't really done my homework, but I'm pretty sure she was. Overall, this show is very entertaining. Like I said, you don't have to be a NASCAR fan to really enjoy this. It's more a workplace comedy than it is a NASCAR comedy, and I was thankful for that. If you're a fan of Kevin James, you're definitely going to like this. He brings a little bit of a different look to him. He's got the shaved head. He's got kind of the workman's demeanor in this, but at the same time, it's still Kevin James doing Kevin James comedy. Also, this is pretty family friendly. I would have no problem sitting down and watching this with my kids. No problem at all. And I'm glad for that. I think that's a great choice, because Kevin James's other TV shows have been mostly family friendly. And, these kind of fall in the line of his previous TV shows. There's a laugh track, the comedy kind of is the same. It feels very familiar, and that's very good when somebody like Kevin James is trying to start a new show. You want it to feel a little bit familiar, because it's going to be comfortable, and you're going to like it, and you're going to keep tuning in. But that being said, this is very family friendly, and I was afraid that it being Netflix, it would be like The Ranch, right, where they would drop F-bombs, and yeah. I was very happy that they made this family friendly. Not that I have a problem with edgier television. I really like edgier television, but for whatever reason, this being a Kevin James show, and me being such a big fan of King of Queens and Kevin Can Wait, I really felt like this should have kind of stayed in the same vein, and I was glad that they did. Overall, I really recommend this show. It was really funny, and there was some really good moments in it, and there's a lot of sweet moments as well. It was definitely very episodic. There's 10 episodes, about half hour each episode, so it was very episodic, but at the same time, it still had an overarching arc throughout the whole series. Also, definitely set up a season 2, which I will definitely be looking forward to. Overall, though, I definitely liked The Crew, had a good time with it, and I'm happy to say I can recommend it. Have you watched The Crew on Netflix? If you have, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your take on it. While you're down there leaving your comments, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out a lot of content, and I want to make sure you're up to date with everything that I'm doing. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.